Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree if you are new here, and welcome back to another palette Throwback Thursday, where I take an older palette out of my collection and I do a look with it to inspire myself to keep using those palettes, inspire you guys to pull out your old palettes and use them as well. In today's video, I'm going to be using the Norvina Volume 3 mini palette. This palette is so cute. I love the colors inside of it. There is not a single shadow inside of here that I don't love. I just think this is a really cute palette. I love the way that this look turned out. If you guys are interested in seeing how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Alright, so as per usual, I've already primed my eyes and I set my brow bone with a skin colored shadow. And I'm going to start off with a little tiny fluffy brush and go into this dark red color right here and put that on my inner and outer corners. I will say that with this formula of shadows, the best way is to get it onto your brush and then press it onto your lid. So I just do little tiny, just taps and just get it on there, and then you kind of start fluffing it out afterwards. And especially with a look like this, where we're going to be putting contrasting colors next to each other, we don't want to overblend because you'll start to get really muddled shades and you'll honestly pretty much almost always end up with some weird shade of brown. Next up, I'm going to go into the shade right above it and just kind of start blending this color just a little bit. Just starting to create that gradient. So I'm going to go kind of above it in more of a swiping motion, and then also right next to it. Next up, I'm going to go in with the exact same brush and go into this bottom corner red shade right here. And I'm not going to really start blending on the centers. I'm just going to use this to more so start blending out the top edges. Just really using that to complete that gradient. Next up, I'm going to go in with a flat but still kind of just a little bit fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into this light blue shade right here, and I'm just going to start pressing that on the very center of my lids. So I'm leaving space on either side of it because I want to use the teal shade to blend and kind of mesh the shades together without over blending. Next up, I'm going to go in with a small little fluffy pencil brush, and I'm going to go into the teal shade right here. And I'm really going to load my brush up, and then I'm going to focus my blending, like pressing and then flicking it into the blue. I do need to make sure that there's no gap though. We can blend the teal and the blue together all day long. That's totally fine. It's the line right here where those two go together that you want to blend them together but not overly blend them so they don't become muddy. Alright, I'm going to go back into the little flat brush, into the blue, and make sure these shades are nice and blended. And now I'm gonna go back in with my little fluffy brush into this shade right here. And I'm going to I'm gonna have a very light hand with it, but I'm gonna start meshing those two shades together. I'm just gonna wipe this brush off and dip it gently back into the greeny teal color. And then last but not least, back into the first brush that we used, into that deep dark red shade, and just re-intensifying any spots that we may have lost. All right, really quick, I'm just gonna take my skin colored shadow and I'm just going to run that over these top edges here. All right, just ran through, made sure I had no like lines of demarcation or anything like that, or like weird muddy spots. So I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna put on a little bit of liner, not a wing, just a little bit on my lash line, and do my base, toss on some bronzer, and I will be back to keep working on this look. I'm gonna go in with this little teeny tiny flat brush, and I'm gonna start off in this dark red shade, and I'm gonna kind of mimic what I have on my lids. Sometimes I get so self-conscious about how I'm like holding mirrors and am I like sitting at some weird angle where you guys can't see and I also look like an idiot. And then on that same brush, I'm gonna actually just go straight into the teal shade and kind of fill in that gaps, and then I'll go back in with the other colors and blend it together. All right, I'm gonna dip into that medium red shade and just kind of start blending right in here. Really quick back into that teal. All right, I'm gonna go into two of the same brush, and I'm going to go into the lighter red shade and also the blue shade and use those two to just start blending out so I don't have just like a harsh line underneath my eyes. And then really quick, I'm gonna go back in with my fluffy brush from earlier into my skin tone powder and just use this just to soften it up a little bit. All right, so for blush, I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Cheeky. I just feel like peach tones obviously go really well with like reds, but they also work really, really well with teals too. So this blush looks really good with this eyeshadow. It's also not like too in your face, considering the eyeshadow very much is. And then for highlight, I'm gonna keep it super neutral. I'm gonna go in with the Pixi Rachhloves Layers palette, and I'm gonna go into Clutch. It's just a really neutral champagne tone. I don't want like too much highlight. I don't really want to be like super blingy, but I also just need it to be like a neutral tone. Alright, I'm gonna jump off and finish up the rest of this look. I will be back to tell you guys what I put on my lips and show you guys the final look. Alright, so for my lips, I went in with the Wet n Wild Bare to Comment lip liner and then the Kylie Velvet Lipstick in Bare. And this is the final look. I have a lot of fun blending colors that don't naturally go together, so I really like the way that this look turned out. I think that pairing purples and reds with like teal are so pretty. And that is going to wrap up my palette Throwback Thursday for the Norvina Volume 3 palette. I do adore this palette. I think, honestly, I use every single shade in this palette. I think it's gorgeous. These three shimmers are so pretty, especially this one right here is really pretty. So definitely, it's just such a cute little palette, so compact, easy to travel with. The shadows are great, the mirror inside of it's great, it's all plastic, so it's, you know, safe for travel. It's not gonna break or anything like that. It can handle a pretty good toss. I mean, don't like chuck it across the room, but it'll work. So I do absolutely adore this palette, and that is going to wrap up today's video. Comment down below and tell me what two colors you love to pair together on eyeshadow looks. I would love to know. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would mean the world to me. Like this video, ring the bell, do all the things. I hope that you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!